Welcome to the living room. This is the home for our characters in Entertaining Mr. Sloane. And initially in the stages when our designer and director were first talking about what they wanted on the set, obviously it goes back to the text, and there's a lot of discussions about drawers and wardrobes, and people have all of these items that they need to acquire and then put down somewhere and get rid of. So it became almost immediately apparent that it would have to have a lot of what we affectionately call junk. So there's quite a lot of what we call dressing to the set. Little bits of paper, there's letters, there's telephones. All of these things are things that Kath has accumulated over the years living here. And so it's all piled up in this disarray around us, which seems somewhat unstable, but I can promise you it's all very secure. And we have some wonderful set builders who help us really realise what the designer wanted. And we raided goodness knows how many junk stores and second-hand shops around London looking for the perfect furniture that would just feel just slightly older than 60s, but not too old that it was antique. So it felt like this was a collection that someone could have created over 10 years, 10, 15 years living in her home. It's the idea that we are watching these characters and it all happens in quite a small space, and the designer and Michael, the director, really wanted to kind of get that sense of maybe looking into a Petri dish or something, that you're watching all of this happen and you're seeing it all. And obviously as an audience you can't affect what's happening, you know that there is an outcome, but you can watch it all happen. And the smaller and the more enclosed space the characters are in, the quicker they're going to bump up against the problems and situations that may arise. So that's the circle, and it's that sense of it kind of all encapsulating and it's engulfing, and it's all this junk that could just at any moment fall down and in and around what's happening on stage. So that's hopefully the reason why we've got a circle. Or that's the reason I like to think. It's roughly about 80, 90 items. They're all individual. It all gets almost flat packed. It's kind of IKEA style, but a little bit better built, and the instructions were easier to understand. So yeah, it's quite an undertaking. We do 45 venues on this tour, so the set has to be built to last, and it has to be built in a way that's easy enough to put up each day and take down each day, so that nothing gets broken. And we have ample supplies of blankets and bubble wrap, so hopefully most things have survived the journey so far. We do a huge range of venues, from the small art centres to this beautiful venue where we are today. So it can take anywhere between an hour to 2 hours to get it all out of the back of the van and in, and up to almost as you see it now. And then from that point, my assistant stage manager, Julia, she does all the wonderful dressing, so she makes sure everything is where it is. And I move on and make sure that all the LX, all the lighting and the sound is all in the right place and it gets the right mood. So roughly, it's about 4 to 5 hours work from arriving at the venue to being ready for the cast on stage. So it's a little tight at times, but it's good fun, very good fun. There are certain things that we have been very fortunate to hire and borrow from RADA and Leicester Curve, who have been very generous with what we've been able to take. So there's certain things that will get returned to them. The sofa and the chair we will probably keep as the company and maybe sell on or use in future productions. But there are a few items that due to how we've had to alter them for storage and for attaching things to, they will unfortunately get destroyed at the end, and hopefully we'll recycle most of the wood, but it'll be a Sunday morning, a bacon butty, and probably a sledgehammer to some of it. So I'd like you to meet a good friend of mine that we've made over the tour. This is our unofficial tour mascot. This is Terry, our taxidermy duck. He's a wonderful lend that we've had from Rada Prop Store. But I never thought I would say this, but I'm quite fond of this bit of taxidermy. And it's just one of the few items on set that after 16, 17 weeks on the road, you start to imagine things have a life of their own. So Terry is a good luck charm. I know that there's one member of cast who shall remain nameless, who always gives him a little wink as he comes on stage. And there's always a nod, and Terry is always the last item out of the pack. And he has pride of place on top of all of this lovely junk. And he just kind of oversees the production, so he's our lucky charm. This is Terry.